We all know about using hidden cameras. Here we're doing it differently. Everyone knows the camera's here. In this pizza experiment, what the girls and boys behind me don't know is that as well as the normal pizza, we've also baked a pizza with absolutely no salt. Now let's find out how it goes down. So here you go, take a slice. And?
Good.
What do you think?
Tastes like nothing. Wow, it's just disgusting.
Disgusting. He doesn't like it. Well, the results were pretty clear, but I do wonder why the salty taste is so important to us. Salt must obviously be pretty valuable to us. Why? What can salt do? Let's do another experiment in my own kitchen. The participants in our second experiment have to be cut into pieces first. And they are these two here. Every cook knows what will happen here. I'll dip 1/2 in a bowl of salt. And then wait and see. This will take a little while, but when salt and fluids come together, the result is always a surprise. And in fact, it's also pretty surprising that this fluid tastes so salty. After all, I haven't been dipped into any salt.
Around 70% of the human body consists of water. Not just any water, but salt solution. The blood starts its journey through the body in the heart. Blood carries salts and nutrients to all cells of the body, but only the osmotic force of the salt keeps it in the blood vessels. One could say that the osmotic pressure strengthens the walls of the veins. This prevents fluid from entering the surrounding cells. With the blood, the salt ions also reach the nerve cells and attach themselves to their outer walls. A membrane potential arises, an electrical gradient that is the basis of a nerve impulse. The cell is able to control the membrane potential and use it to send messages. Through this chain of events, a human can think and act. Salt ions are particularly important for the body's water system, which is mainly controlled by the kidneys. Salt binds water to it strongly, and so in a way puts it on a leash. With this leash, the body determines the distribution of water by controlling the salt concentration. In this way, cells do not dry out. The water reaches the right parts, for example the surface of the skin, as cooling sweat.
So it seems that my body would not survive very well without salt. Is that also why I'm tired when I do sports, because I lose salt when I sweat? Professor Resch, what's the link between salt and health?
Yes, salt and health are really related in many different ways with each other, and in fact you can really feel this. When, for example, you walk by the sea, then you quite literally breathe in salt, and after just a short while your lungs feel cleaner, and you feel a lot better. You can breathe better. Or take, for example, the skin. When you bathe in the sea, or even in a natural spa which offers saltwater baths with seawater or concentrated salt water, then you feel how smooth the skin gets, unlike in fresh water, where your skin gets wrinkly and swells.
But how exactly does this work, for example in the muscles?
Yeah, when you jog, then a large number of different muscles must perform the right motion at exactly the right time, and this must be regulated by the brain through a complex signalling system that works using sodium ions. Without sodium ions, i.e. without salt, the brain cannot transmit this information to the muscles. Oh yeah, and then there's also sweat. You've just tried it out. Sweat contains a large amount of salt, 1 to 4 grams per litre in fact. The body loses sweat in order to maintain body temperature, and therefore also losing salt. This is why afterwards one must always make sure that the loss of salt and water is compensated for. Why not try this with a bottle of mineral water? This is an ideal way to replenish the missing salt.
The secret behind why salt attracts water so well is because of the electrical charge of the water and the salt ions. Salt insists on dissolving, really stubborn, particularly in water. If it has to, it draws the water from the fruit, if it can't go inside itself. The experts call that osmosis.
In living bodies, not many membrane walls are permeable to salt, but they are permeable to water. Because of this, salt works like a pump that builds up an osmotic pressure when it is more concentrated on one side of the membrane than on the other. Because of this, the life-saving infusions used in hospitals contain exactly the same concentration of salt as the human blood into which they are fed.
Too little salt is damaging. What happens if there's too much salt?
Yes, mostly with salt, as is often the case with everything in life, you can of course overdo it. But in general, the body deals quite well with excess salt. It takes the amount it needs, and whatever is too much, it then disposes of. Only people with specific illnesses really have a problem with that, especially those with kidney problems, when the kidneys don't function well anymore, or people with a very weak heart. And then, from among those people who suffer from high blood pressure, there's a section for whom it also might be problematic. This can be tested, and then one must keep an eye on it. But besides this, there is no real reason for being concerned. Very important, though, is that one leads an active life and maintains a healthy and well-balanced diet.
Our day starts with breakfast. Buns, coffee, cheese, some might prefer muesli. Our daily requirement of minerals looks like this. Minerals are absolutely vital for our bodies. What we have for lunch often covers a large part of our daily requirement in minerals. This is simply because, for lunch, we usually eat a variety of things and very often season it well with salt. After eating dinner, our levels of sodium are usually good, but here, our modern diet only supplies us with the required minerals when it's a balanced diet. But it's not only us, this also needs minerals in order to grow, and we'll see more of that later with potash fertilizers.